Okay. Here we go.
All right.
Hey, episode 3 of the Hot Car Podcast.
And here we go.
Cars heat up very quickly when sitting in the sun. Even a relatively cool day by Texas standards can result in dangerously high temperatures inside your car. According to the National Weather Service, temperatures in your car can exceed 100 degrees in less than 20 minutes when the outside temperature is in the 80s. Temperatures
All right, so what's on the agenda for today?
Well, we have marijuana legislation happening in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
Voters in Ohio will decide next week whether to legalize recreational marijuana. But people on both sides of the issue say more hangs in the balance than simply decriminalizing the drug.
Right. This sounds like the same, or I haven't read the article yet, but I would imagine this is basically the same arguments that we have heard from each state. Their fears or hopes, that it's going to generate a bunch of money, and the fears that, all the kids are going to become dope fiends, I guess. Right?
Yeah, increased workforce, the opponents saying traffic accidents by people under the influence.
Right.
And then a big argue of the revenue and where will it land in the pocket of the marijuana industry and not the taxpayers. That's what they're wondering. Who's going to get the money from the taxes?
Right. They haven't decided that yet?
No, they haven't figured that out.
Oh, because, California is, supposed to get an education. I think Oregon's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right.
November 7th is when the ballot goes, and it would allow adults 21 and over to buy and possess up to 2.5 ounces of cannabis and 15 grams of extract and grow up to 6 plants per individual through the government program. And a 10% tax would be imposed on any purchases.
Right, because right now they're, all driving to New Jersey, New York?
Yeah, they leave. Everybody goes over the state line.
They're
transporting.
It'll solve that problem. Yeah. It'll decrease crime because there'll be less, interstate commerce.
And people that are listening, who hasn't done that before Oregon got legal?
That reminds me of driving through Idaho.
Oh yeah,
shooting the gap.
The gauntlet.
Yes, that 70 miles from
Washington,
Tacoma to Boise. Is that right?
Yeah, to get it. Well, not.
No, wait. What's the Coeur d'Alene?
Yeah, Coeur d'Alene is a big town.
Right, so it's that one through the mountain pass.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to book it if you you don't want to be pulled over.
If you got a seed.
No, that's serious.
Yeah, it's zero tolerance. I've known people got pulled over, had their card, had under their limit, and still got 2.5 years in prison.
That's incredible. They should let all those people go.
Yeah, Eastern Oregon is Little Idaho.
This happened on Tuesday, and we know it was really hot that day. Hot car. Joining us live in the Alert Center.
How long did you last in a hot car?
Facts that the heat index that day was 105 degrees. Hot car.
We don't yet know about a potential third suspect who was seen speeding away from federal agents at the scene. The whole thing had been a mystery to neighbors.
Hot car.
This is not an accident. This is pure negligence.
Here's another weird story, or a weird story. This happened in Utah. A Utah man said he ordered a milkshake through a food delivery app, but instead got a cup filled with urine.
Oh, wow.
Caleb Wood of Saratoga Springs said he ordered fries and a milkshake from Chick-fil-A through the Grubhub app earlier this week. And then he, quote,
probably didn't give a tip, but so he gave him one.
He says, when I started eating my meal upon delivery, I put a straw in my cup that was delivered and I took a sip, he said. I soon discovered that the cup delivered to me from the Grubhub driver was a warm cup of urine.
Should have tipped him better.
Grubhub needed to eat.
Yeah.
And you got the drinks confused.
Wood captured the delivery on his home security camera. Wood said he called the driver back to his house and confronted him. That confrontation was also caught on video. "Do you realize this is pee?" Wood said to the driver while holding the tall styrofoam cup in his hand. According to Wood, the driver admitted to confusing two styrofoam cups in his vehicle. Wood said the driver told him that he works long hours and doesn't take bathroom breaks, so he relieves himself in his car. Wood said that drinking the urine had made him sick. When he reached out to Grubhub, Wood said that the Chicago-based company took 4 days to get back to him. He said that the company refunded part of his order, which was less than $30. They refunded like $18, the actual cost of the food, Wood said. They didn't refund the delivery fee or the tip that I gave him.
Wow.
That's terrible.
Pee in a cup.
And the next one might be worse.
What could be worse than pee in a cup?
Well, what was supposed to be another luxurious stay at the Ritz-Carlton turned into a nightmarish for one couple. Jane and John Doe, of course, of Washington State, arrived at the oceanfront luxury Half Moon Bay Resort for the weekend of November 18th, 2022, to visit the daughter attending a nearby university for the Thanksgiving holiday and to celebrate Jane's birthday. However, plans were significantly derailed after Jane had a sip of Ritz-Carlton branded water bottle that was contaminated with semen.
Oh.
Oh.
And she drank it, or?
The lawsuit alleges the victim began normally, the victim. The lawsuit alleges that the visit began normally and the couple was properly greeted when they arrived for the stay. Nothing amiss. On the night of November 18th, the couple realized they were out of water and called the front desk for some more. Moments later, a male employee arrived with at least 5 bottles and had no reason to believe the bottles were tampered with and defiled. Jane went to sleep and woke up in the middle of the night and reached for a bottle. According to her, she knew something was wrong and alerted hotel security and management. Jane said the water taste and texture were off, and she initially thought it was a chemical contamination before she started to suspect it was semen.
Question is, did she get pregnant?
This would later be confirmed on January 12th, 2023, after a claims adjuster talked to the couple over the phone and told them that the water was defiled with semen. The lawsuit claims one of the hotel's employees ejaculated his semen into a Ritz-Carlton labeled water bottle, delivered it to Jane and John Doe's room, and Jane Doe then drank the semen-contaminated water before she realized it had been defiled by a criminal deviant and that she had been sexually assaulted. Incredible.
But she took it.
That's wild. You always, here's the lesson. You always make sure that when you open your bottle of water, you hear the safety click, so you know that it's actually sealed.
Correct.
Yeah, you don't. But late at night,
you still get the pop.
You reach over, you're going to get defiled.
At the Ritz, get the spritz at the Ritz.
I mean, I guess they're going to probably get a good amount of money for that, which is, I guess, that's a consolation prize, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, but is it worth it? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. That'd be a high price to pay.
Yes, it would.
Like, I mean,
that'd be paying double for your room.
Millions?
Yeah, shoot.
I mean, it's the Ritz-Carlton.
And probably a charge, criminal charge for the other guy.
Well, I don't know if you're going to be able to figure out who it is.
DNA.
Yeah. Oh, they must have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lawsuit, though. It's not. I mean, this isn't. The article's not about a criminal case. It looks like it's about a civil lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be both, definitely. So a man was arrested for putting fake arrows on the floor in IKEA and created a labyrinth with no exit. You see that meme?
No.
If you haven't seen that?
Not yet.
It just says, it's a you know how IKEA has arrows.
Yes.
And you're supposed to follow them. And that actually will lead you all the way around the store and then back out.
Okay.
And because it's and they do that on purpose to guide you through what they want.
Make you look at everything.
Make you look at everything. And I think it's a joke. I don't know. I don't know if this is real because it doesn't make sense. Because here's the problem with that: you don't have to follow the arrows.
No.
No.
No. But people do.
Well, you would. Yeah, people. Right, because you put an arrow down on the ground.
It's like music festivals and stuff. They just put a little piece of tape.
In your brain, it's telling you to do that.
So, a social experiment, like we need to create some kind of path with arrows that lead somewhere, and see how many people just start walking and following the.
Experiment with arrows.
Yeah, it's like standing on the
Yeah, on the ground.
Correct.
Lead them somewhere and see how many people get in line and make it a giant circle, right? Just
Make it go in a circle.
have them go around the whole park or something, and people will follow, and maybe
Yeah,
not.
you do that after work.
And they're like, "Hey, I'm back where I started from."
Or standing on the sidewalk and just stare up at the sky and see how many people stop and stare up at the sky.
Oh, we used to do that as kids. We would point at the sky, me and my friend. We'd point at nothing in the sky, both of us, and we'd be like, "Oh, wow, look at that!" And we'd get a whole bunch of people gathered around looking and pointing at the sky, and then we'd move it away and watch all these idiots pointing at the sky. Because we knew, of course, that we were pointing at nothing. But all these other people, I don't know what they were pointing at, because there was nothing there.
Probably a UFO.
You can, all I'm saying is you can get people to do a lot of stuff. Okay, now we're recording. So if you remember listening, well, of course you remember listening to all of the stuff that we did, and the sound quality was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It sounded like a bad phone call. Like every time we did it, it sounded like a bad phone call.
Yes.
With the exception of maybe my voice, which was louder than everybody. Because I was the one at the source.
Right.
But as soon as we started plugging the microphones in, and the call-in stuff was pretty good. We've gotten this last episode that I need to edit and post up today of what I'm doing now is even better. It just sounds like a studio. It's cool.
Right on. Right on.
Yeah. So, hey, welcome back.
Hey, I'm glad to be back.
This is so weird.
It is a bit weird.
I mean, kind of weird.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. Oh, doing this in general is very strange. Like just recording conversations and putting them out on the internet.
Sure.
It's
But
so
also, like, our situation is a bit strange,
Well,
And-
yeah. The reason we started doing it is very odd. Like, I mean, the whole idea of why we wanted to create something to put out there. I mean, the initial idea, it goes all the way back to, actually, I think it goes all the way back to Def Leppard Arm, before Jamone, even.
Yes, I would agree with that. I would agree. I think it is something to do with the arm.
I
There
think that
was
would be
something
really
to do with
easy
the
to
arm.
do now.
Really?
Well, yeah, just because of AI text to image generation. I mean, along with like the photograph of the arm on his mantle. Like, that's incredible that he saved it and now it's displayed. You've seen that
Yes.
picture, right?
Yes.
Yes, and I will put this up on the YouTube version so everyone can see. What's his name?
The Thunder God Rick something. I can't remember.
Rick. Yeah, the old
Rick
Rick.
something. Yeah, from Def Leppard, the drummer with one arm, whose
Yeah.
whose other arm didn't like the beat.
Right, because he wanted to play free jazz,
Yes.
and so it was a big scheme that was concocted
On a
after
fateful
years,
day.
after years and years and years of just like torture for his his right arm.
Yeah.
No, his left arm. Left arm.
I think. I don't know.
Well,
I
okay,
mean,
so he's
yeah.
British, so driving on the left,
Yeah.
and his left arm would be the one by the window.
Right.
So that would be because so the arm like launched itself out the window, hoping, just praying
That it would sever
for a
itself.
severance.
Yeah.
Right. And then they tried to reattach it at the hospital, and it got
but it
rejected.
Yeah.
Right. And then it was just the arm's adventures out on the mean streets, becoming a junkie, and just
And a prostitute getting pimped out.
Yep. His best friend, the prostitute with a heart of gold, kind of teaching him the ropes.
Yeah.
And then, luckily enough, who comes along one day? You know who it is?
Forrest Whitaker's eye.
Yes, and he decides to represent him
Yes.
and gets him booked in all these cool jazz clubs. And and he gets clean and all that good stuff. It's just amazing. And then I guess retires and gets put up on the mantle.
Yeah, it's just a true story of an arm's redemption,
Well, I like that it has a full circle.
Arc.
Because there's
Arc,
a real
yeah.
arc. So because he
Yeah.
ends up, back with Rick Allen, that's his name.
Oh, that's his name, yeah.
Still sharing space with Rick, because they come to some conclusions that it all worked out for the best, and that they reconciled, and the arm, after retiring from his own career, decided to come back home to the mantle.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
It's absolutely incredible. It's a great idea.
Right. So we didn't do that at all.
No.
No. What we did was Jamon.
Yes.
And that's just, we can't even really talk about that. People just have to look at it, I think, really.
Yeah, it's too much to,
It really is just too much to even get into. Like, unless here's where I stand on that. If it ever got in any way like popular as far as many views and maybe even comments, and people said, "Hey, what the hell is this?" Then we can talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because why give it all away when they're, the most popular episode of the 12 is like approaching 900 views in almost 5 years. That's not good. No, it's not really like seen at all. It's just every once in a while someone comes across this thing and then it's on for 15 seconds and they shut it off.
Yes.
Absolutely. I've seen the statistics. I know how long they look at this stuff.
I'm sure.
And you know what? It's not that long. But it is long.
What's that?
The amount of time that people watch the Survivor interviews or listen to them, right? That's like full on, like 60-70% full on. And those have thousands of views, which is really nice to see.
Yes, that makes me happy.
There's the interview you did with Eric Thor from Sunset Bay still continues to attract commenters too. There's a whole story of its own just in the comment thread there. Like, that's incredible. Like, just so many people like, oh, I know that person, or I was there, or I know what she did, or like all of this like crazy stuff. It's really interesting. I mean, it might serve a purpose to, kind of do maybe like, I don't know, a reaction podcast to our own material.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A fresh perspective. It's
sure.
Plus, it's we don't get put into that category of reactors. That
And
goes.
and also, my opinion of him changed quite dramatically after that interview.
I've
you
never
know.
listened to it.
Yeah,
No,
it's-
I haven't listened to it.
I
But
don't
I
know
don't
if I
even
have
really
either.
know. I think both of our opinions though were pretty mixed, like from the beginning with that guy. Like it was.
Yeah.
I remember the conversations we had regarding even doing it, and how whether we should or not, because of the implications of. I guess the fear would be. Even on a small level, like what we're doing, is platforming someone who was
Involved, yeah.
really involved, like so involved that they were in charge.
Yeah.
Right. And he was definitely, I mean, as far as his story is concerned, in charge of a large number of students in his classroom and, stuff like that.
Yeah.
The boss,
Yeah.
But maybe not so much. I don't know how did your opinion change? Like, what did it go from to?
I know that I thanked him for doing the interview with me and told him that he was awesome for doing it at the time. And then, kind of figuring out that I don't know, there's something weird about a staff member who has a bunch of friends who are ex-victims of his,
Yeah.
And then,
Right.
and then, that's not his real name.
No, that's not anybody's real name. But
No.
from what you were talking, just speaking about, sorry, my crazy next or across the street neighbor. I don't know if you can hear that.
I can.
He's that's a whole. I can't even get into that right now. But he's revving his engine. He does that every day just because.
Gotcha.
He's a Nazi.
Oh,
Like, he'll rant and rave and scream and yell. And a couple of years ago, I guess the police had to tell him to stop doing it on his front lawn and yelling at people and calling them like horrible names. Like he called people N-word crats.
oh wow.
Yeah, and it's like on all his like posts, his mailbox is like "F you," "F you government" kind of stuff, and he's actually painted on his own house, on the outside of his house, like spray painted like all this vile shit, and he's got flags, like big giant flags all over the place that fly above his house, like Trump flags and F Biden flags and all kinds of stuff. Like it's amazing.
Oh, pleasant.
He's got a couple Jeeps that he like will attach his flags to, daily, and like drive around town with his big flags, and then sometimes at night, like once or twice a week at night, you can hear him from across the street, from inside his house, screaming, "What did you do? My dad guarded Hitler." Like seriously, like, and he's like, "Well, you don't care about America," and all this stuff. Yeah, I mean, wow, he's going for it today.
Yeah, I can hear.
Oh yeah, that's and if he wasn't so scary, he'd probably be a really interesting person to talk to.
Yes, yes.
But no, not quite.
No.
I'm afraid I was like, because I can see his house like a perfect view from my bedroom window. I could take
Yeah.
pictures, and I won't even do that because no, because
No.
it's too obvious. Like it's like, oh, that guy. Oh, where did that photo come from? Oh, directly across the street.
Right.
Ooh, yeah. Hold on. Hold on. I will take a picture for you, though. Hold on.
Okay.
All right. See, this is the new era of the podcast where we really get down. And,
Into what's happening.
okay. All right. Wow. We're moving and grooving. Oh, I'm going to send you the picture.
Yeah, please do.
See, this is cool. I like this. There you go.
Okay, I'll have to look at that in a second. Because I've got my ear to the phone. Well, wait, hold on. I'll put you on speaker. Well, let me see if I can.
Sure you can.
No,
You can look at
yeah.
it later. It's fine. It's not that exciting.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah, I'll have to look at it later.
yeah. Yeah. This is definitely the thumbnail though.
I mean, here's the thing about Eric Thor, just going back to
Oh
Eric
yeah,
Thor.
for sure.
So he did, at least admit that they were definitely smuggling children in the backs of trunks of cars across the border.
Oh, I
He
didn't know
did
that
admit-
part. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he did admit that, there was definitely abuse going on there. But I have a real thing about staff, and
Of course.
like having any empathy for them at all is very, very, very hard for me.
Right. More so, I think, than having empathy for parents. More difficult.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm pretty bad with parents too.
Yeah. Well, I guess the idea is that, I mean, at least in some cases, if not many cases, parents can be tricked.
Okay, that is fair, but it's also there's a particular type of parent that does this.
You got to have money.
And-
You got to have money.
No, you
No.
don't.
How-
You can have a school district that can do it for you. But
Oh.
here's the thing.
Interesting. Okay.
The type of parent that does this is a narcissistic parent. It's just, it fits the model with almost all of us. Almost all of us. I would say 90% of us have had narcissistic parents.
That makes a lot of sense because you're just invading all of their time and space.
Right.
Right. So,
and
so anyway, right.
you're the problem. There is no other issue but you as the child in the house. So removing you is how you fix the problem.
Right. I remember finding, I wanted to talk about this particular place, but I never got around to it. But I saw a website. I was looking for different institutions to kind of, discover them and
Yeah.
bring some of this stuff to light. But one in particular, it spoke a lot about one of the reasons you might want to consider this place is if your child was bored.
Right.
Right, just aimless, bored,
Right.
not really even doing anything bad, just not really doing anything at all.
Yes.
As far as your perspective is concerned, parent.
Right.
Right, the child has a full life, that you're not aware of perhaps even, right? But
Yeah.
but when he's with you, he doesn't want to have anything to do with you really because you're a narcissistic parent. That's before the fact. So they don't want you around anyway, but if they don't see you doing something that they approve of, they say, well, you know what? If he's not really doing stuff around here, let's send him somewhere else where they'll force him to do stuff. And that doesn't take, up any of my time.
But also, it doesn't matter what the child could do possibly to get the approval of a narcissistic parent. A narcissistic parent is never going to be in approval.
Right, but right, exactly. That was just one of the worst examples of any reason to send your kid anywhere because
Sure.
they're bored or whatever, because you perceive them to not have any interests that you approve of.
Sure.
And that's just like, what? I mean, how you can't get much lower level than just a kid who isn't interested in what in family, life in that sense. Like, that's the most ridiculous reason to send anybody away for anything. Like,
It's true. It's true.
yeah, wow. But yeah, I don't know about the staff thing either. Really, it's still I still haven't really come to terms of whether or not that's even a good thing to do. When I think about whether or not in my particular situation, what I want to it's different because I was staff at the Scientology org, but it's just totally different. But I don't know if I would want to. Well, I couldn't. I mean, say it's so different that I can't even make the analogy.
Okay,
One,
well, there you go
because
then.
I wasn't abusing kids. Two, I was a victim of their coercion in a big way anyway, and
Yeah.
and what I did do is when people signed up for their initial class or little workshop or whatever it was, where you stare at each other and
Seminar. Yeah.
or it's really like a exercise where you
Yeah.
sit across from each other and stare at each other and try not to blink. So I'd like, it'd be in the evening, there'd be the classroom going on, all very nice. People walking around the courtyards and drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes and talking about Scientology,
Yeah.
and very pleasant, really. And so then I, kind of scout out some of the participants, and I would look for like the good ones, the ones who were winning, the ones who were kind of getting it, and then basically I'd offer them like a job, and say,
Yeah.
hey, you want to like come hang out, and you can like do stuff like, yard work. I don't know. You want to read a bunch of books about Scientology?
Yeah.
That's my sin. But it took a while for me to figure out like how nefarious it all was.
Right.
I mean, we have a whole like hour and a half long interview with me and you about all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it would be interesting to talk to other more known like Scientologists. Like it would be really fun to like interview with like Leah Remini.
Yes.
Remini.
Definitely.
How do you say her name? I don't know.
Yeah.
And she has a show with another like. See, this is the weird part. She has a show, and this is kind of where the analogy actually works. She has a show with like the former like basically head of security, the enforcer guy for Scientology, and how do you deal with that? Like, he's on the other side now, a really strong advocate for survivors of Scientology, and yet he was so instrumental in so many of their like horrible stalking practices and things like that.
Yeah, well, I guess that I haven't really heard many podcasts of ex-TTI staff, really rallying for this industry to close. In fact, mostly what I hear from staff who speak out is their victimization inside of it. And I really don't give a fuck, because I think that for you to take that role, considering everything you did to us,
right,
is completely bullshit.
Right, and that's
know?
what I was kind of getting at when I was comparing parents to staff,
Right.
because parents can be manipulated, and
Sure.
sure, staff can be manipulated to a certain degree, like
Yeah, but
upon
both of these parties, Marcus,
Yes.
both of these parties are adults.
no,
Both of these parties are the adults in the situation.
yes,
They
yes,
are not vulnerable. They are not voiceless. They
No.
don't. They have rights.
no, I'm not saying
You know-
that. I'm not comparing the adults to the children at all. What I'm saying is that initially, getting hired somewhere, in any context,
Sure.
you don't know what you're in for yet, and you find out, and
Yes.
I guess the idea that Eric was trying to put forth was that he waited too long and got fired and didn't act as soon as he should have.
Yeah.
But the problem with that argument is that things were going on for far too long that he was aware of before he didn't act,
Correct.
and then got whatever dismissed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the thing is, if you're ex-staff, you better be very recent like very recently hired and left ex-staff. Like, holy shit, what is going on here? I'm out of here. Not I did it for a while and then realized I was wrong. That doesn't fly. What I'd like to hear or really like pursue is, I'm not aware, are there like ex-staff like podcasts and stuff?
No. Not that I know of. No.
Are we one of the few people that like really get in depth with any staff?
I think Eric Thor is it. Yeah.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah, that is wild.
because we
And it's wild that we did it. It is. It's a bit. I don't know how I feel about it all, Marcus.
now remember we disclosed emails. We did a show where we disclosed emails. Remember that?
Yes.
From a ex-staff.
Yes.
But that person wasn't there to respond to what we were saying about what they had said. So
Right.
that's okay. That's just
Yes.
exposure.
Yes.
So, but that's like, I'm thinking about it and like, I don't really know if there's anything else like similar, but it'd be really interesting to find out,
Yeah.
because exactly what you were saying about staff having no real right to complain about anything.
No, I didn't.
Well,
I didn't
okay.
say that. I said
You're right.
children have no real right to complain about anything.
Right.
Children have no rights. The staff are adults. They can walk at any time. If they see something bad going on, they
not
can
no
walk
rights.
from that job at any time.
Not no rights, no right to complain, no right to
Right,
claim you're a
right,
victim.
Right.
They have all the rights, but they have no right to complain about it. Like, especially after a certain point.
Yeah.
So, so it would be interesting to like go through some of these like ideas and explain how they're wrong. And it would be even better if it was actually someone voicing these ideas as an ex-staff member that we could like hear.
Yes. That
But
would
they-
be
but,
interesting.
I wonder if the Litchfield kid has any avenues to that kind of thing.
Maybe.
That's an interesting case too. Like, I'd like to talk to him.
I would like to talk to him too.
I bet he would. He seems very nice.
Yeah, you should try and reach out to
I
him.
forget his first name, but I'll look it up. Hold on.
I forget it too, but yeah.
That's that's the looking up stuff music. Oh, Nathaniel.
Nathaniel Litchfield.
Yes. Yep. Yep. Imagine Dragons and Bush or Captain Planet seems to be a bad combo. I don't know. Yes, but that's the guy. I was reading some weird. I looked up his name, and the first thing that came up was a post from me saying, "This is insane, Nathaniel Litchfield." And then, and then there's a photo, like a screenshot of him replying to me. And he says, "What I said was so mild." Oh, so Facebook did not like him posting Imagine Dragons and Bush or Captain Planet seems to be a bad combo. Failed to post.
Interesting.
Don't say that. Don't say those words together. Don't.
Yes,
That
don't combine those.
It
yeah.
means something.
Imagination
It means
drag-
something
yeah.
quite different than what you assume.
Yes.
Apparently. That's weird. And that's just so weird. But yeah. So let's reach out to him and see if he'd want to. I don't know what he would want to talk about. His like bad relatives, like his terrible
Yeah.
father. Like, hey,
Yeah,
tell us
I
about
think-
your bad dad.
I think he's quite interested in. I think he's quite into talking about it. Actually.
Oh, he's definitely an advocate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think. I mean, I can't say he should, but it'd be nice if there was more of
Yeah,
him.
because I'd really like to know as much history about those two as possible.
The brothers.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
I'd like to know everything.
Right. How did that all start? Like, how do you get, like, what a weird thing to want to get into. Right? You want to,
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I love kids so much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start a school that rips kids away from their parents. Like, what? Because I know best.
Well, it's much more sinister than that. It's because they were both working at Provo Canyon, so they already had the idea. But
Well-
then they wanted to take it even further. They wanted to create a school that they knew wouldn't work, so that they could then expedite the kids from that school to out of the country
So
or
it's
to
like,
other programs around the country
right. So it's
that were
like,
higher levels.
gotcha. So it's like
You know.
the TTI version of the producers. We're like, this'll
Yeah.
never work, and then
Right.
suddenly
Right,
it worked.
right.
Oops. And then so they did that as well. So
Yeah.
they built their little troubled teen empire, and then also shot kids out around the world. They did both.
But also, like, the idea to come up with, okay, well, what we could do here in Mexico is we can stick the kids in dog cages.
Right.
Like, I mean, who the fuck comes up with that idea? And at what point do you come up with that idea?
Right. Is that an idea that you come up with first, or is that an idea that you come up later when you see that you have no idea what you're doing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has
Right.
to do with like incompetence, ignorance, like just
Yeah.
and then just saying, "Hey, let's get all the big kids to like hold the little kids down." So,
Yeah,
so we don't have
exactly.
we don't have to deal with that anymore. Like,
Yeah.
good idea, buddy.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's start building peer levels.
Yeah.
Scary.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
This is what a terrible thing to talk about.
it's pretty bad.
But you know what? It still amazes me that, like, you can go up to almost anybody, like, unless we're actively involved or like know someone who was actively involved as a kidnapped child. They have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, they
But
just have
then-
no clue. Like,
But what
oh,
amazes me also is if you sit at a dinner table with 20 people and you bring it up, someone there has either been or knows someone or had a family member that has been.
Right.
It's that big. It's that encompassing in this country.
Right. So like 1 or 2%, or
Yeah.
more, I don't, but yeah, I mean, it's millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. But and on the other hand, too, like, there's the one person, like, there may be one person at the table who really knows,
Yeah.
and then everyone else has these other ideas about what it is. Like, oh
Correct.
yeah, wilderness camp where you go and like get all cool and tough, or
Yeah. Correct.
it's the what do you call it? Alternative school. Oh yeah, where they send the like the alternative public school. Like people understand those things. Like
That also brings up another thing that I need to talk about at some point with you is the label of troubled teen and how it actually hurts us
sure.
because it creates the question automatically, well, what did you do to get there?
Right.
You know?
Well, remember that conversation I had with that very odd psychiatrist guy,
Yes.
right? He and his son,
Yes.
where it's exactly, he kind of came to the conclusion about what you're talking about, that in fact he was a troubled parent, and
Right.
and these are the things that he did to
Right.
alienate his kid, and then these are the things he did to regain trust.
Yeah.
But that was good because he fully recognized that his son was never at fault.
Right.
It was always him. It took him a while to figure
Right.
that out, but he did.
Right.
That's great. That's about as. And I don't think the kid was ever sent away.
No, he
I
wasn't.
don't think that happened. So he that guy went right up to the edge and then backed off, which is
Yeah.
great. Strange guy though.
Yes.
I couldn't quite get a read on him because it sounds like what was he doing? Something involving computers, and then I think he took like correspondence course or something.
Mm.
I don't know, man. I think he got, I don't know. I don't want to say it's fake. I don't want to say anything like that. But it just didn't seem like a real like career path. It was just very strange. Like
Yeah.
people don't generally do that. Like say,
Right.
oh, my kid's in trouble. I'm going to go back to school
Right.
and learn all about it, and then come back and write a book with him. Huh. Because he disappeared too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the other weird thing. That's interesting. I really like more enamored of the idea of having us, maybe as we kind of, if we want to talk to other people, kind of like what Mr. Morningstar does. He's doing some good interviews, holding that flame up. I know he talked to you,
Yes.
right? But the idea of as we kind of like figure out like who has interesting stories to talk about, who's articulate, to go back and review some of the stuff we've already done and see if there's other things that we might be able to pull from that. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
really
I'd
just
like to do that too. Yeah, we could definitely do that.
well, because also it'd be interesting just to hear what the hell we were talking about too, and
Sure.
like in real time, so we can
Yeah.
we can pause and things like that.
Yeah, that would be really good.
I think so.
I'd be down to do that.
Yeah. Excuse me. Very cool. So I think what I'm going to do is edit this conversation into the thing I still need to put up.
Okay.
Yeah. Just makes it. I
That
think it just makes it more
sounds good.
interesting. Yeah, like little special guest.
Hey, you're a special guest.
That's right. The Church of Angry Mel.
I want my copy of the fucking script.
He's like mumbling something about Maccabees and.
Yeah, Maccabees. Maccabees.
I'll be over there in 10 minutes.
Your foreign buddies.
Bury you in the backyard. So good.
It's brilliant.
Oh man. And
You can get raped by a pack of. Oh man.
yeah, see that's it.
All right.
That means it's over.
All right. Sounds good.
Hey, you've been a guest on the Hot Talk podcast. What do you think about that?
Hey, I feel hot in the car. Let me turn the AC on.
There was a saucer-shaped.
A sausage shape.
Saucer.
You were like, I want to see a sausage shape.
The controversy was so big that the FBI even looked into it.
Hey, you know what we do have access to, right? The internet, which is pretty fun.
Yes.
We have people don't really know this yet, but we have access to a lot of like geniuses out there, like private connections, people we know, big timers, who can answer a lot of these questions about like what really happened at the McMinnville UFO sighting. I want to see if I can take a minute and get a hold of somebody who might be able to email me back about
Some UAPs.
that very incident itself. So this was back in 1950, I think.
Yes.
It's here we go. So it was referred to as the Trent sighting, named after the witnesses Paul and Evelyn Trent, and they claim to have observed this object that was saucer-like, not sausage, but that would be more funny. He took 2 pictures, Paul did, and then I guess it flew away. These are the ones that everyone knows. All the most famous UFO images that, when you think about it, 1950. I don't know about this guy's history. Was he like a camera guy? Other than that, if you're just some guy in the backyard taking pictures in 1950, you're not going to have the capability to, alter it.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, because
Or
I'm looking at the picture and it looks like a picture, not altered.
Yeah, I'll definitely put the photos up on the YouTube version of the show. People who are listening just audio, you know the photos I'm talking about. But yeah, that's really interesting. I wanted. Why would that be fake, right?
Correct.
So what was his history?
So there's a standoff at 4200 block of Hannah Avenue
So
here in Winston somewhere.
So I guess from my understanding, they didn't seek public attention, and they just took the photographs and then, there's not much really about these guys because they really didn't come forward. He was a farmer,
Yeah.
It's not like, some camera expert who could do double exposures.
Yeah, 1950s and 60s, there was multiple UFO sightings. But of course, right off Alaska, we got Russia, we got everything just right there. Who knows who's sending what?
Right. One of the my theories was that a couple years ago, when this first got kind of repopularized, the UFO stuff from all the those military reports, was that maybe some of the stuff was old, like decommissioned, like experimental aircraft of our own that were just like in barns somewhere,
Correct.
because there were these experimental aircraft teams that built and flew and crashed a lot of these like jets, and there were secret operations that weren't disclosed to anybody, and even a lot of the people in charge didn't know about them. I just wonder, like, if discovering some of these old wrecks from our own experimental aircraft just made it an easy way to tell a UFO story. Because I know there's a lot of money involved in, like, I know where a lot of that money at least went in that first round. A lot of it went to very strange. It went to the Blink 182 guy, the Tom DeLonge guy, who started a UFO group called To the Stars Foundation, and then he got hooked up with an ex government guy and a journalist, filmmaker guy. This all kind of ties back into even Bob Lazar stuff. And once you get people like that involved, the Area 51 stuff comes into play, and then it just becomes more of what I thought, that it's either birds or regular airplanes that are filmed, in less than ideal circumstances, through radar and stuff like that, or heat sensing radar. If you get the wrong angle on an aircraft, where the engines are pointing away or towards you or whatever, you're going to have a whole bunch of different effects. It's just I don't know. I just don't think it's real, but I'm open to the idea,
I'm trying to see where the year on this, it says the Van Nuys San Fernando incident.
Oh, yeah.
And it says on the evening of October 5th, doesn't give a year, just before 8 p.m., a California Central airliner would leave the runway at Burbank Hollywood Airport. They were heading to Oakland. However, barely 5 minutes into the journey between Van Nuys and San Fernando, while still climbing at an altitude of 4,500 feet, then out of nowhere, Captain Cecil Hardin would yell out to co-pilot Jack Conroy. When he turned around, he could see a glowing object seemingly heading straight for them. However, at last minute, the craft swerved and ducked underneath the plane. Conroy would state that due to how fast everything happened, it was impossible to say exactly how fast it was going. Wow. The same was true with the size of the aircraft. Furthermore, the object appeared to have no obvious means of propulsion. Both men agreed that they witnessed several bright lights on the craft as it swerved past their window. And this was Van Nuys San Fernando incident.
And when was that?
It doesn't give a year. It was October 5th.
Huh.
And let's see, let me go back to there's a whole bunch of different.
Hey, while you're looking that up, did you know, I found this out, that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone used to have these rivalries with each other, like these competitions, stupid stuff, like who uses the bigger knives, who can, like in the movies and stuff, like who uses the biggest guns and holds them with one arm.
Oh, wow.
Who has the more muscles?
I'll break you like twig.
That's so funny. I believe it. I mean, but it didn't really. I guess it really didn't seem like that. Like they were in kind of like competition, like as far as like movie like box office, that kind of stuff. I mean, it was hard to back, when they were in their prime. It was kind of hard to compete with either one of those guys. Anyway, like every movie they made was.
We need to roll down a window. I know it's Hot Car Podcast, but no, we got three.
we gonna hotbox the studio if we're not careful.
Yeah, I guess that San Fernando incident, all this stuff was between 1947 and 48. So, during the wars, all that, like you say, you have all these different stuff the military used, what was really there.
Oh, that was weird. Sorry about that.
That was a mic fart.
It was. I opened a window to clear the air, so I wanted to readjust my microphone. All right. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back with more Hot Car Podcast with some. I think we're going to call some people and surprise them. So stand by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need to plug in anyway. Look at you can talk, but you overpower me. With your somebody needs you.
She'll.
Unless I put a mic in front of you.
She'll bust out like she did at Rivera Fest.
Oh, which one was it? What would she do there?
Hey!
Oh, hey! They did.
Oh, there was all these people out there talking. You could hear like there was like music playing. There was like people laughing and talking loud, and she leaned out the motorhome window and yelled, "Hey!" really loud, and it was silent.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Riviera Fest, they're like the Woodstock of metal now.
Oh, it's great. I saw that. Yeah, that article.
They actually started, I believe, a couple years after I did with the metal, and they were able to stick with it. Even through the COVID and everything, they made it.
Yeah, I was talking to Matt at the festival.
His good old Matt Weber.
Right, and he said there's all kinds of really cool stuff in the works, like bigger bands.
Oh, yes.
Very exciting stuff.
Yeah, Matt's been in it since forever.
Yeah, he couldn't like disclose like who he was talking to because it wasn't confirmed, but he said that next year is going to be just off the hook.
Yeah, Matt's band, I remember everybody sticks with here in Roseburg, Lidless Eye. Nice. They were like the local metal band.
So remember the lady on the plane who said the person
crazy
wasn't real?
Yes.
The viral not real plane woman. She's
that motherfucker right there. Right there. You're not real.
So now she's like become like kind of like internet famous and is on like, talk shows and stuff. And she's explaining, hold on. We got an emergency call coming through.
Yeah,
that woman is not real.
No, she isn't. Hello. Oh, well, get a call, and it's a car flipped up on Gasley Road.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we got a video going. So keep that video going.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I'll need that later on.
Hey, everybody, there's a car flipped upside down on Gasley Road.
Yeah, by the time you get this, it'll be over. But yeah, I just got the call. We'll keep the video going, and we'll give you more updates on that.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a couple of days after the fact.
Well, that's what I mean. It's a hammy brain.
But this is actually happening. Let's see, it's November 5th.
Yes.
Went over the embankment.
Yikes.
Vehicle on its
Slow down, people.
Driver, not answering calls to him.
Mm-hmm.
Reach is unavailable.
Bye.
So apparently there was nothing. She didn't see anything.
Well, the car's upside down.
Well, no, the woman on the plane.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, back to the woman on the plane. Yeah, she didn't see nothing.
No. She just had some bad energy, I guess.
Correct. Or bad mushrooms, or good mushrooms.
So, you ever heard of CopCon?
No, I've heard of
like
Comic-Con.
CopCon is like a tech police convention, police tech, like vendors. 700 vendors showcase police tech from tracking devices disguised as Newport cigarettes to window breaking drones.
Oh, wow.
That's
Well,
incredible.
Oregon leads America in both marital infidelity and clinical depression.
Maybe they should try what the professional golfers are doing. Serious players are dosing psychedelics like mushrooms and ayahuasca and golfing way better.
Dosing is becoming a big thing. Now, if you microdose, I'm hearing. Well, I've tried microdosing and I like it. That's and you can get into places, and a lot of people are microdosing now.
Yeah, I guess some of these golfers though are macro dosing, and they kind of are getting the ability to kind of I don't know how true this is, but like almost like psychically guide the ball into the hole. That's what they're saying, and the proof is that their scores are going way down. It's pretty wild.
Well, isn't down good?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
in golf,
down is
right?
good.
You get a lower score,
Correct.
fewer strokes.
Well, with microdosing, you don't even feel it.
Right.
You have to take at least 50 milligrams and up to really, when people say start tripping and seeing things.
That's true.
But just taking 10 milligrams microdosing, that's more on the mental health side.
Right.
And it works.
It does.
Looking at Oregon jokes, they're stupid. Yeah. And with the marital infidelity and clinical depression, puts Oregon in a bad state of affairs.
Oh no.
Pa-dum-pum.
Maybe they need to try some mushrooms as well.
Oh, yeah. Everybody needs to try some mushrooms. Mom's on mushrooms. Jesus caps.
Jesus caps.
Yes.
Cheese and rice.
Take these and you will see God.
So are all the different gods in like rivalry, like a competition
You mean now or with people?
with each other?
I don't believe, I think there's a hierarchy,
Yeah.
but it's more the God battle is be with the people on who is God. And God is just a name somebody made up. It's just a power up there. It's not a person, a thing, it's a force. And somebody had to give it a name. So they said
right.
God.
So there's like Greek, Hindu, Norse, Egyptian. I wonder, I was thinking, what would it be like to get all these like different beings like in a cage match kind of a thing? Who would come out on top if they were all battling?
Well, that's a good question.
Right, because they all have different powers, and they can revive them, like come back to life. And
But out of all of, not all of them come back to life because not all of them been killed.
that's right. Some haven't been killed. Some
Haven't even became in the human form.
Some just they all had to suffer somehow, I think, but they didn't all have to die.
Yeah, I guess it's like being up there in the universe and you got all these different atoms and stuff flying around. And that's the same way with them gods. It's us people that gave them a body form and a name.
All right, so if they were in a cage match, each god might use their powers or artifacts associated, with their mythology. For example, Zeus, lightning bolts, of course, right? That makes sense. And
Yes.
then Thor would have his hammer, and then Shiva from Hindu mythology has like destructive powers. And then there's Ra from the Egyptian side is the sun god. They could use the power of the sun to fight. And then other, gods have their other weapons depending on their mythology. I'm just curious how that would play out.
I guess the one who created all of the tools that they're using in weapons, who created the lightning, who created the sun. Because if he's using lightning as a weapon, where did he get that lightning?
Right.
He might be a powerful god, but where did he get that light? Who made that lightning?
There's always like a god behind the god, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's always a god.
Somebody had to start the ball rolling.
So here's, I think this is what I think a battle would kind of look like. So there's a big cosmic arena, organized. You're bringing together all the gods from the different mythologies. It's a big, grand space filled with the elements and landscapes representing each deity's like domain, right? So we got Zeus with the thunderbolts, Thor with his hammer, Shiva, Ra, other gods. So here's how the battle might play out. So Zeus unleashes thunderbolts and illuminates the arena with flashes and roaring thunder, trying to hit everybody. And Thor's swinging his hammer, hitting the lightning bolts away. Shiva creates like tornadoes that shake the whole like arena and might make the whole place collapse. And then Ra could use the sun to attempt to burn or blind his opponents. I don't know. There's no telling who would win. I mean, it would eventually reach a stalemate because they're pretty evenly matched, I would think. Because of what you were saying, there's who gave these guys all that power? There's got to be, who's the...
But they're not all, if we research it, they're not all of them are not all powerful, all knowing, and merciful.
Right.
Some of them just go out there, we're going to slaughter you.
Right.
Some are merciful. But there's only God, Allah, like in the Muslims.
Yeah.
They have all that. They believe it's all powerful, all knowing, and merciful.
Right.
And all the other ones aren't like that.
True.
But Zeus was a bad little cookie. Nobody messed with Zeus. Odin was the chief god and ruler of Asair. Odin, Adrian's Odin.
That's right.
He's the chief god of my motorhome.
There he is.
Yeah.
There he is.
Big old Rottweiler in a motorhome.
So, you ever see Spike and Mike film, like Animation Festival?
No.
That's where I think that's where The Simpsons got started, I think. Or maybe even South Park. There's a bunch of... So they like show them at drive-ins like every year. It's like, they're just like a 2-hour, kind of like, Comedy Central, like cartoons, but in the theater, on a big screen. Pretty funny stuff. I guess it's coming back, which is, that's pretty cool. So teachers are apparently all turning to porn to pay off their student loans.
Oh, you got to make them bills. There's a lot of people doing it. I was thinking of getting only hams. Make me some content.
They go to Cornhub.
They go to
Cornhub.
Yeah, there's a story on Fox Business that student loan debt are driving teachers to turn to porn to pay all their bills.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, I guess that's the argument, is that, this stuff is for adults, but so kids shouldn't be even aware of it. But, of course, kids are going to be aware of it. And so it causes a problem because now these kids are imagining their teacher, doing all kinds of stuff.
But who didn't do that in school? We all had that favorite teacher.
But in this case, they've seen it. They've seen it in real life on their phone.
Yeah, we couldn't get the teacher on the beeper back then.
Well, no, all of our teachers will remain, fully clothed. Generally speaking, I would hope.
We had the yearbook.
Right. So, yeah, that's kind of that's not great. You know, you don't want your kid going to school and fantasizing about his teacher, you know, and what she's doing on OnlyHams.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
You need to do teaching in the schools.
You got to pick one. That's what I'm saying. You got to, yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't think it's a good combination.
No.
So, you know, teachers are getting fired because of it, and they're, you know, getting upset, but you're going to have to make a choice. So here's some interesting news about fentanyl. The Wall Street Journal wrote a story recently that the Sinaloa cartel is sending a message to all of its members to stop making fentanyl or die. I guess the crime group is yielding to intensifying U.S. law enforcement pressure and is kidnapping or killing these producers who are defying its ban on trafficking the opioid. That's you know, it's interesting. You know, like
maybe they want to make it themselves.
they just, I think, well, they're getting a lot of heat though too. I mean, much more than they would otherwise. They don't want, you know, their organizations to be disrupted by, and they don't want people dying either. The cartels don't want their customers dying.
Mm-mm.
No. Quite the opposite. I mean, I know there's a never-ending supply of people, you know, who want to use stuff, but the problem is that the people want to use the stuff that they think it is. You know, they want to do the cocaine. They don't want to do the fentanyl, and then die. Like, that's not really the point, right?
Yeah, because you can die from accident.
Right. I mean, that's
You
generally.
can touch some cocaine and you're not going to die.
Exactly.
Touch some fentanyl with your finger, you're going to die.
Exactly. Right. So,
Not that I've ever touched any cocaine with my finger.
what do you do when touching the cocaine?
I don't do it. I just like the way it smells.
I just like the way it feels when I touch it.
Yeah. I thought that was the Ajax.
Oh, that's funny.
That tells you how old I am.
That reminds me of the first time I heard Cheech and Chong. I was hanging out in a park with, when I was, I don't know, I must have been like 10 years old. There was a park right near my house. There were my older friends, neighbors, and they had a boombox and a cassette of an old Cheech and Chong show, like a comedy album. And it was very funny. They did the dog shit routine.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the first time I tried chewing tobacco and nearly puked.
That's about the same time of life when I tried my chewing tobacco.
And you know, it was all very exciting listening to this like it was bad, like this bad recording. These like comedian guys talking about this stuff, saying curse words, you know, talking about smoking. So I run back home after, you know, when there's time to come in and go, hey, Mom, do you know Ching Ching Chong? She did not know Cheech and Chong or Ching
My
Ching
parents were the ones that turned me on to that show. They're all, watch this. And they used to just laugh because most of them were filmed just right a couple miles from where we lived in California.
Chong. Oh, the movies?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
The Cheech and Chong movies.
oh yeah. Well, later on, when my buddies and I found out about, you know, became fans, we, I think the first movie we saw in the theater was Nice Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
We would buy a ticket for a different show and then just go in and watch the movie we wanted to see.
You bought tickets?
Yeah, we
We used to go through the back door.
We didn't do that. Nah. We thought we looked down on the kids that did that. Actually, we thought that was not cool. Maybe it was just because the kids that were doing that, we didn't like them anyway.
Yeah, you wouldn't come to our part of town. It was real cliquey.
Well, no, we had a little clique too, but we were the clique that liked to pay for the wrong movie and then go in and see the rated R movie.
Yeah, that's how
Real
you
cool.
justify your wrong. We just went and did it.
Plus, there was a different kind
Yeah,
of challenge.
you had to make yourself. You and your buddies had to make yourself feel good.
No, we'd run into the bad kids on the way. On the way,
But we had the better weed.
we didn't. Okay, weed came a couple years later when I was 12 in sixth grade.
Nine
That's a totally
years
different
old for
story.
me.
That's
See, I was 9, you were 12. So yeah, that's.
yeah. This was in Orange County. We 10-year-olds. 4 or 5 of us, 3, 4, 5 kids. We just walk 3-4 miles to the movie theater or ride bikes or whatever, and basically we were told to be gone all day. Like we weren't supposed to be inside the house much at all. In fact, if you came in and out too many times, they might make you stay.
Stay in, correct.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So we made sure that we were out basically, till the street lights came on,
Streetlights.
or somebody was called in. Called in, meaning like you heard someone yelling for you.
Yeah, ours was a whistle.
Yeah, right. The other part was that if I was with my friends and they got called into dinner, I would have to go with them and eat too, or I would get in trouble for being disrespectful. But yeah, so that was nice, actually. That was pretty good. So I don't know exactly what this. I'm looking at. It's a Daily Mail article. It says comedians versus AI. Can you tell who wrote these jokes? And then they're saying that it's AI attempting to write jokes in the style of famous comedians. I thought that might be fun to try.
What?
So maybe we can both pick a comedian. You don't tell me who it is, okay? And I won't tell you who my comedian is. I'm going to write a joke in this style, and on AI, and you can pick one too, and then we'll see if we can figure out what comedian it is.
Okay, we can do that.
All right. Okay, so I'm writing my joke, or I'm saying write a joke in the style of, and then I'm going to write in my comedian.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually to write give us more of a chance to see if we can guess. So here's my okay. You ready?
You're doing 3, I'll do 3.
All right, this is cool. See, I think this is a good use of AI.
Yes.
Because it's a now it's a game. Now we can really test. We're testing the AI and the comedians. Okay, so do you ever notice that passwords are like underwear? You should change them often, but somehow the ones you love the most always zip with a hole in them. I'll say another one. Hold on. Grab my mic so I can. God gave men a brain and a penis, but only enough blood to run one at a time. It's like a system that's perpetually crashing, trying to multitask.
George Carlin.
Nope.
Okay.
Here's the third joke. In politics, they say the left wing and the right wing belong to the same bird. It's like a crazy, feathery dance where they flap around occasionally, pecking each other, and we're all just hoping they don't leave a mess on our cars.
Thing Donald Trump says.
Okay, well,
I give up on that one.
that is Robin Williams. I don't
know what went through my head. Okay, well, here you go.
Okay.
Here's number 1. Man, you ever notice how people at the DMV move slower than molasses in January? I was in a line for so long, I started to think I was waiting for my next birthday instead of a driver's license.
I don't know yet. I'm thinking of something, but I'm not sure.
You know your relationships are like boxing matches. you got to bob, you got to weave those emotional punches, but sometimes you end up in a cinch. You're like, is this a hug or are we fighting?
I like that one. Is that Richard Pryor?
Yes, it is.
Oh, what's the third one?
The third one is, I went to the doctor the other day, and he told me I needed to exercise more. I said, Doc, I'm so out of shape, I get winded just trying to fold a fitted sheet.
Yeah, okay.
Isn't Richard the one, he caught himself on fire smoking crack?
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. It was.
What's the difference between a G-spot and a golf ball?
What's the difference between a G-spot and a golf club? Golf club or ball?
Golf ball.
Golf ball.
I don't know.
The guy will actually search for the golf ball.
A guy will actually search for the golf ball.
All right. Hey, let's do another one. That was fun. I'm gonna pick another comedian. Okay. Yeah, we'll do another round, and then maybe call Ron Green. I mean, hey, he kept asking about it. You know, he does that a lot. Have you noticed that? Mm-hmm. No, really. Like he's like, hey, what's up? Like, and I say, oh, do this or send me a message or, and then I don't know where he goes. I don't know. He makes another T-shirt.
Yeah, he's getting them likes up.
All right, let's see. All right. Okay, wow. You might get this one. One of my favorites. It's pretty good.
Okay.
All right. All right. I'm writing a book on anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down.
See, now that takes me straight to Robin, but it's not.
Okay. Here
Next one.
I once tried to escape a problem in a balloon, but the irony was that it was a blown-up issue. That's pretty good, though.
I don't know.
It's
Got me thinking.
I like this one the best. I bought some batteries, but they weren't included, so I had to buy them again. You'll know it when I say it. Like, and then you'll hear it in his voice, too.
No, I don't know.
It's Stephen Wright.
Oh.
One time, I put my car keys into my front door,
that guy.
and I drove around my neighborhood.
We know a person like that. Cindy knows her.
Who
You
talked-
want gas today? Okay, I got some for you here.
All right.
I can't stand her.
So, I've been around so long, even my first pet dinosaur had a retirement plan.
My first pet dinosaur?
I've been around so long, even my first pet dinosaur had a retirement plan.
Wow.
Sounds like some kind of old person.
Johnny Carson?
Nope.
That sounds
Okay,
old.
that's old.
Sounds old.
So number 2, they say age is just a number, and I say if it's a number, it better be my lucky one. My lucky number, 92.
George Burns?
No. Yeah, it's the wrong gender.
Oh.
You're on the wrong gender.
Okay, all right. I got a hint. Okay.
Yeah. So number 3, I've got a secret to staying young at heart. It's all in the cheesecake. I've had so much cheesecake, my wrinkles are now filled with cream cheese.
I don't know. No.
It's a female.
Yeah, but it can't be Betty White because she's too skinny.
It's Betty White.
Oh,
Her wrinkles now filled with, well, they're filled with more than cream cheese.
true.
So,
She
but yeah.
she finally made her weight goal.
It's like the everlasting, no, the guitarist for the Rolling Stones.
Keith Richards?
He's
he's aging in reverse?
Yeah, they say drugs kill you.
You know, he, at this point, he's been tobacco free and totally sober for a long time. I think for like 10, 15 years at this point, Keith Richards.
Wow. I'm typing in the AI, will Keith Richards die?
Apparently he just got, he'd done it all. And it was just something that,
see, even AI.
he was bored.
Yeah, I put, will Keith Richards die? But AI ain't that too smart. I don't have access to real-time information, and my knowledge is up to date only as January 2022. Whether Keith Richards, the guitarist of Rolling Stones, is alive or not depends on events that have occurred since then.
Okay.
I recommend checking the latest news or online source.
Okay, well, I have a source too here. It says, as of my last knowledge update in January 2022, Keith Richards, the legendary guitarist of the Rolling Stones, was alive. However, like all human beings, he is mortal, and his mortality is inevitable. The running joke about Keith Richards being indestructible or immortal largely stems from his wild rock and roll lifestyle and various anecdotes about his resilience. Richards has made light of these jokes himself. But despite his notorious past, he's proven to be quite resilient. The reality is that, like anyone else, he is subject to the limitations of life. The hope that he continues to defy expectations and keep sharing his musical talents for many, many years to come.
I think him and Ozzy are battling. It's like, no, I ain't going till you go.
Ozzy keeps leaving and coming back.
That's true.
Yeah, well, I think the last big show they had him propped up on like a coat rack kind of a thing.
Yeah, then he had that big old chair he sat in.
It wasn't even a chair; it was more like a contraption that held up his spine and kind of gave him a little
Like for a
seat.
mannequin.
Yeah. That
I hope they didn't have it in his butt.
He had a little seat.
Yeah.
A little jump seat.
Held him up.
You hold him up.
I may need one of them soon.
Yeah, that was pretty high tech, but it looked very strange because he really looked like a mannequin up there. All right. I don't know if we. Let's see. What else is going on? There's a bunch of stuff going on. Let's see. All right.
How much is on there now?
53 minutes
Oh, is that total?
total.
Oh, so you stop at one.
I paused. Yeah, we should definitely do a bit more. Let's see. Oh, you know what I really want to talk about is, excuse me. We kind of promised we would do this, but talking about the Mike Coyne conspiracy theory regarding Eddie Van Halen.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Eddie
it's-
Italiano.
Yeah, it's a crazy story. Like there's a whole press release about it that was sent out that I found. It's back. I'll read it. We can stop and like comment on it, but it's crazy what you can dig up sometimes.
Most people don't know some of the early history of their rock and roll.
So apparently, Eddie Italiano has been revealed as the musical fusion of Eddie Van Halen and his Italian heritage. which is like, I mean, everyone's like, no, isn't he, what, like Swedish or something? They're from the Scandinavian Van Halen's, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. So this comes out of Santa Monica, California. Revelation that has sent shockwaves through the music industry. The mystery behind the persona of Eddie Italiano has been solved. This is a luthier or guitar maker to the stars, Mike Coyne, has confirmed that Eddie Italiano is the groundbreaking fusion of the legendary guitar maestro Eddie Van Halen and the vibrant spirit of Italian musical heritage. So, I guess Mike Coyne worked closely with both Eddie Van Halen and various other musicians with some Italian musical traditions. And it's undeniable that Eddie Italiano embodies the very essence of this powerful fusion.
Yeah, because I seen them growing up in El Monte, California. They're playing high schools, little stages.
Right? I mean, it was like a musical phenomenon, like anything. I'm tripping over my own words. It's so exciting. It was unlike anything anyone's ever seen before. They're the same person. That's what this confirmation is that those two people are the same person.
So is Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth the same person?
I don't know. We can find out. I mean, here's another thing that came up recently, and people are kind of pissed off about it. In fact, Sammy Hagar was on a podcast talking about how he thinks that it's a goddamn shame that there has been no big tribute to Van Halen. There's been no, like the Foo Fighters drummer guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
When remember he passed, he's the Foo Fighters drummer guy. I mean, that's cool and everything, right? But Eddie Van Halen died, and so Hagar is saying because even to this day, none of these people can get along with each other. And then he said, but he doesn't think it's his responsibility to do it. So he's criticizing that it isn't being done, but he's not willing to do it.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of, I don't know. That's pretty shitty, I think. Like, why would you say that?
Because he was part of it.
Yeah, but you can't say that, hey, there's been no tribute and then say I'm not going to do it or I'm not going to lead the way. He's like, I'll be a part of it, but I'm not going to put it up.
Maybe we'll start the tribute band.
No, not a band, like a concert event or even a tour. Like with all these other people, like
Gotcha.
the people that are the great inspirations, like that he was. Like where all his like guitar, his fans that turned into big guitar guys, those guys. Like
Probably on Who Owns the Rights.
Rage Against the Machine. No.
Who owns the rights to Van Halen?
Yeah, good question.
That'd be the thing. Who's owning the rights?
I would imagine that Alex probably has something to do with that, right? His brother, sure. I mean, he's Van Halen. His son, I don't get it. But back to your question: are Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth the same person?
Atlas Music Group owns Van Halen.
Oh, is that right?
Owns the publishing rights.
Oh, well, I mean, that's different than like a tribute thing. That would be easy.
They'd be the ones making the decision.
Yeah, but that would come together easily, right? I mean, because everybody else would want to be involved. So who would be stopping it? Not them. Those guys would want that. Of course they would. Of course they'd want that. That would boost their sales, streaming, all that stuff, right? If there was a big tribute thing.
Correct.
So the idea that Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth are the same person is also pretty legendary as far as a conspiracy theory goes. They're walking around wearing different wigs, outfits, and even putting on like different personas. But the I can't listen. The I can't drive 55 guy is the same guy as just the Gigolo guy. It's the same guy. Because one day it's like Sammy belting out, "Why can't this be love?" Right, and then
Correct.
next he's spinning around with "Jump" as David Lee Roth. There was
Jumping
never,
as a short man.
there was never. I can't drive 55, and then the next moment you're striking a pose in leather pants.
Hmm.
I mean,
And he couldn't jump like David. David jumped over the drum set.
oh yeah, but no, but I think the idea is that, you know, he was just pretending that he couldn't when he was playing as Sammy Hagar. They both grew up in the same part of town. Like, I mean, Canada, right? Isn't Hagar Canadian?
Oh, that's different. I think, and then Dutch was for our other question.
He's not Canadian. Why did I think Sammy Hagar was Canadian?
Haggard.
He seems like a Canadian guy.
Sure.
I don't know.
Let's see, ethnicity. Oh shit. Hagar was born in Salinas, California, but his family soon moved to Fontana, where his
See?
father worked at the Kaiser Steel Mill.
It's not that far away from Pasadena.
He is. Ooh, wait a minute. I see something about Lebanese. Ooh, Sammy Hagar, Arab American.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, yes.
That's fascinating.
ArabAmerica.com site has a article. Sammy Hagar, named after his maternal grandfather, Sam Roy Hagar, was born in Salinas, California, and then moved to Fontana. The career was from 67, from when I was born, which was the best music years starting. As a teenager, Hagar became interested in the burgeoning Southern California music scene. Wish I could have been there.
Wow.
No, he fronted his first band, the Fabulous Castellis, when he was 20, as part of a duo known as Samson and Hagar. Backed by the Peppermint Trolley Company, he released a 7-inch single on Ranwood Records with the tracks Reach Out and Find Me and Read My Thoughts. In the same year, he joined the Johnny Fortune Band as a vocalist. He became a member of a string of other Montrose bands, including Big Bang, Skinny, Dust Cloud, Cotton, Jimmy, and the Manhole. Boy, that's a heck of a band name. I guess I'd be Jimmy because I don't want to be the Manhole. He next became a member of the Justice Brothers, along with guitarist Bob Englund, keyboardist Al Shane, bassist Jeff Nicholson, and drummer David Lauser. The Justice Brothers. And then where I was birthed, and they played in a bar called The Nightclub in San Bernardino, California, before they relocated to San Francisco.
Oh wow, that's a whole history.
Oh yeah, they got a lot. And they haven't said nothing about the Arab American, but he's on the Arab America site.
All right.
So Hassas, HSAS. A super group HSAS. Oh, Hagar, Sean, Aronson, Shreve, with the Foghat bassist Kenny Arison and former Santana drummer Michael Shreve, did a small Christmas tour for local charities.
Hmm.
And then in Van Halen in 85 through 96.
Yep. Old Hagar. Yeah. put everyone to sleep reading about Hagar.
I see, it'd go on for days. Sleepy Hagar.